Welcome to more World of Warplanes content from the Noble Queue, and in this Tech Tree Flythrough video I'm going to look at the Japanese Navy Air Force planes from Tier 2 to Tier 10. Hello there, and what we have on the tarmac outside my hangar is the Tier 10 Tech Tree Japanese multi-role, the J7W3, and this is the culmination of what one might call the Japanese and Navy Air Force line in World of Warplanes, and those are the aircraft that are going to feature in this video today. Let's see what we're looking at. So we go to the tech tree. As mentioned in a previous video, this tech tree can be split broadly into two parts: an Army line or Army aircraft and Navy aircraft. Today we're looking at the Navy aircraft, and that is represented by this line here, which moves across into multi-roles at tiers 8 to 10. And it includes the famous and iconic zeros from here to about here, and all these are paper planes. We won't be flying the Type 91, did that in the previous video, saw no need to repeat that. We'll also be including 3 premium aircraft which were assigned to the Japanese Navy, and that will make a total of 12 aircraft. What you're about to see is a Twitch VOD cut into this video, commented off the cuff as I was flying on stream. There'll be comments which aren't pertinent to the aircraft, but by and large everything in that Twitch VOD will be useful to you. At least I'd like to think so. So without further ado, let's get stuck into that tech tree fly-through. We'll start with this Tier 2 aircraft, the Nakajima A4N. So what's this aircraft about? Let's have a quick look at the characteristics. Gun armament, fairly weak as usual, but it is Tier 2. Survivability, almost non-existent. Airspeed 14. High manoeuvrability. And altitude performance of 16. Not much to write home about. Introduced in 1936, this was the first... was it the first? It's the last biplane that was designed by Nakajima. This is a Nakajima A4N. And about 220 of these entered service as a carrier-based aircraft. Let's go! Just needs a break, first assassin. He's frustrated, and I recognise that feeling extremely well. People have seen me get frustrated on stream, which is always awkward, because you feel you have to keep on playing. Okay. Fine. Okay, I'll take a break sometime as well. I'll take my own advice. I get frustrated, and I do take a break. I stop playing. Difficult when you're on stream.
You are approaching the area of combat operations. Be ready.
Okay, so we're top tier. We're up against an I-15, a Key 8, which is an Army aircraft, and the Type 91, which is the actual route of this line. We're going to go for the airfield first, and then head towards the middle. 2 Key 8s. That's unusual. We'll watch the FI-98 dogfight, no doubt. Yeah, I mean, I didn't read that as, to be fair, I didn't read that chap's comments as more than just being very frustrated. We've all been there, haven't we? I get very frustrated at Tier 10 when I'm in the Hunter and I keep on encountering EF-131s, so I eventually give up on the Hunter and fly the aircraft I don't want to fly, the Javelin, whereupon I don't see an EF-131. Off we go. This is going to feel a bit different after flying a P-80A, I'm pretty sure. Make use of the manoeuvrability. Have to watch this guy. Okay, he wasn't paying me any attention. I am really surprised that they took this so quickly. Still, we'll shoot this guy down, and then we'll clear out the air defence aircraft. Okay, you can see the time to kill there is not very good. I must admit, I was a bit naughty here. I used my pneumatic control assist against this guy. I wanted to make sure I was going to get him out. There we go. So they didn't hang on to this too long. They've got 2 aircraft here. I picked the wrong one to shoot. I shouldn't be shooting the heavy, I should be shooting the fighter. Key 8 versus Key 8, but I'm the one who's probably going to get the kill. Thank you so much for being a total inept flyer. I did get the kill. I needed a new aircraft anyway, to be fair, so it's not actually a big disadvantage. So you can see there, the way I've built this aircraft, unsurprisingly, lightweight wing frame, lightweight, whatever I can put on. We'll have a look at the kit on it after we've finished, but I'm able to outturn everybody. I am specialised, so that's certainly not a massive achievement. I'd have been surprised and disappointed if I weren't able to do it. So the Key 8's come back to see if he can outturn me. Answer, no, not by a long distance. I'm not even using all my turning. Oh really, is this Key 8 going to get in my way again? That's the second time he's rammed me this game. Now you get to see how poor the armament is. I'm just pecking away at this AA1092. Okay, so we actually need to go off and take a sector. Let's do that. Okay, that ground attacker is nearly dead actually, so I will take him on. I wouldn't have normally. Shooting these down because I just want to clear the sector out a little bit before I start taking on aircraft. Right, here we go. You're going to need a friend to save you, but you have got a friend. Oh, I didn't get him. And we've nearly lost the airfield. Wow, how's this game turned round? So this is awkward. I need to defend, but I need to attack. Oh, my turn to ram something. That was my fault. I'm so keen to get that aircraft down because we're right on the verge of losing this airfield. We need this airfield as a platform to take another sector, although I can see we've taken another one now. So we just mustn't lose this one.
The enemy is concentrating forces near the airfield. Way to go! Victory is close.
Okay, we have saved the airfield now. We've got the other one, so we should be alright. Another ground attacker, so I can afford to ignore that. So no, let's just try and get a bit more into this ground attacker. Good. Now we can go after the fighters. It's the Key 8 trying to get me again. As he hasn't got me, he'll now lose.
Receiving reports about
Tried to shoot his tail off, didn't manage it, but I'm going to have the full aircraft in a moment.
Do you read me? Over. Great job today.
Okay, so no power in that aircraft, very poor armament, lots of manoeuvrability. And we've got a successful start to the tech tree. And let's just have a quick look at how I built this aircraft. It will be concentrating on gunsight and manoeuvrability, that is for sure. And that's going to be a feature throughout this line. I don't build this line for speed at any point. There are some people who say that the aircraft are manoeuvrable enough. There's no point. You may as well add speed as opposed to manoeuvrability. I don't take that view, but there you can see gunsight and airframe, and as it happens I've probably picked off the wrong skill there. Shouldn't have gone for aerobatics expert first, I should have gone for aerodynamics expert first. But not to worry. Okay. So let's go and have a look at the tier 3. Japanese aircraft. And the tier 3 of this line is the A5M. So let's see how it stacks up. And we'll have a look at how we built it in a moment. So the gun armament goes up quite a bit actually. That's a fair jump, 2 to tier 3, so that's a bit better. No bombs and rockets, of course, it's still a fighter. Survivability is still nothing. Airspeed is quite a bit faster. Manoeuvrability, well, currently the way I've got it built is slightly less manoeuvrable, but not much so. Altitude performance is exactly the same. So let's get it selected up. And I've got it built in a very odd fashion, and I'm going to rebuild it straight away. I haven't flown this aircraft in a very long while. You can tell from this emblem that I haven't played this in probably 2 years at least. So the first thing to do is get the right emblem on. Why am I picking off this emblem? This emblem here gives us 2% crew experience. That's standard for most emblems. However, this 7th anniversary emblem, which I call the Lucky 7, gives us 5% aircraft experience. And because I've got Accelerate Crew Training ticked, that converts into crew experience. So it's just a better emblem. Now, why have I built this like a tank? I do not know. So what we want to put on is a lightweight wing frame. Got one in depot. Take off the uprated engine and put on the lightweight power unit. This is my preferred approach to these aircraft. Make them as manoeuvrable as possible and get into dogfights. I'm not going to enhance that equipment, but you can now see that the manoeuvrability has gone up to 98. It will be well over 100 if I were to improve this equipment, which I'm not going to do. Okay. And the A5M, what was the history of this aircraft? Well, it says here, another carrier-based fighter. Well, it's a Navy aircraft. It was the first monoplane, low-wing monoplane to enter service as a shipboard fighter, and it's a predecessor to the famous Zeros. There we go. So let's go and see what we can do with this one. It's going to be pretty much more of the same. I build these aircraft as dogfighters. It's going to be the same all the way up to the Tier 8 J7W1. However, the J4M, the J8M are flown differently. Okay, not a great map for me. I'm almost certainly bottom tier, I am. And that's because they've got an I-16 29. I'll outmaneuver that. Well, that's got vicious guns, so if I get in front of it, I'll be down. Got a Key 27, which is another premium aircraft, a Navy one, and a P-38, which is a really strong premium aircraft. They've got a seal clubbing FW-57. I'm going to take the garrison first, then go to the airfield, because I want to see what's going on in the airfield, rather than fly straight into it.
Let's roll.
rule of thumb, don't be first into a sector in a Japanese aircraft unless you absolutely have to be. You want to get in second, preferably when all of the aircraft in the sector are engaged in doing something else, and then pounce upon them. So, it's a rule of thumb, doesn't always apply. And I'm not sure there's much more I can do here. Well, actually that heavy's low-ish. Maybe he is flying towards me, so maybe I will actually give it one more go. Oh, okay, that was worthwhile. Now, unfortunately, we've actually lost the airfield very quickly, and I can see why. Their heavy's gone in and smashed everything. This is not an aircraft to fight against the FW-57. Need to pick my moment. Basically, it would take me about a week and a half to shoot down an FW-57, even on half health. I'm actually going to see if I can help at the plant. Not a usual thing to do, but I think there's a ground attacker there. If I can peck that away and get rid of it, we may have that plant. We've got the other one. And then that will stop the FW-57 from just camping the airfield. Oh, just lost a bomber or something over there. What happened there? The P-38 was shot down by the FW-57. That is actually not good. If I was in a P-38, I'd really strongly fancy my chances against an FW-57. So I'm not sure how that happened. Now I've got here... Oh, there's the ground attacker. I wondered where he'd gone for a second. Full health. This is going to take quite a while. Right. Got it. That's exactly what I wanted to. Now, to a degree, it doesn't matter what this guy is up to. And I don't think he's going to be able to outturn me anyway. Is that the ground? Oh, the heavy's come in. You're too late, heavy. You've lost your plant. So now I can go to the airfield. Key-27 is struggling. P-38 has been shot down again, but has been making a fair contribution. Now, assuming the FW-57 has to stay at that plant, we're now in a position where we can probably take this airfield. FW-57 is probably going to have to chase the bomber, so let's give this a go. Not making much impression on it so far. When's our first count? Another 57 seconds. Okay, that's the human player. So that would be a good one to start with. Good. If he's the one who's been defending this, now we should have a good chance. Being shot by. What's that? So let's outturn it, see if we can kill it. Good. That's exactly what I expected to happen, or wanted to happen. Because they've been forced out of the centre, they can't defend it, and then we take it. I'm actually having to slow down. No. Avoid the ram. Fortunately, I spotted the second aircraft. I'm watching the mini-map actually whilst I'm shooting this. I expressed this yesterday. It's very easy, and I'm as bad at it as most people, to get fixated on an aircraft that you're shooting at, but if you can, look at the minimap, glance, Make sure you're not about to be pounced upon.
Keep it up. Victory is almost ours.
Good. And the good news is, because they're bots, when we took their plant, they've actually been unable to do anything about it.
Hang in there. You'll soon be cut off from support. I say again, support will not be available.
Too high for me.
Victory is
Okay.
ours. We're waiting for your return.
Well worked victory. Basically, we saw our opportunities. We didn't go to the centre, which was the right decision, because the FW-57 went in there and shot everything up. Would have done the same to me. I couldn't have countered him. Took that garrison, and then we saw an opportunity at the plant, and went in and shot down a ground attacker. Good tactics. The FW-57 did shoot me down, but too late. Having left the middle, that meant I was then able to go to the middle and secure that for the team, and from there we never looked back, haven't got our own plant. So, tactics. Tactics win games. You may prefer the Key 27, Panavius. To be truthful, I wouldn't recommend it as a premium for anybody. I don't think it's got enough going for it to make it a worthwhile investment. If it comes out of a crate, well, between you and me, it's up to you to decide whether you think crates are a worthwhile investment. I personally don't, but if you get it out of a crate, that's the way to obtain it. I'm assuming it is available in a crate. I must admit I haven't checked. Right, so that was the A5M. We're now into the famous zero line, and from here on it's turn fighting up until tier 8. Okay, so let's go and find the tier 4. And here it is. A little beauty of an aircraft, this. Very strong turn fighter indeed. What's to say about Zeros? Dominated the naval airspace at the start of World War II, far superior to the American aircraft that were up against it. By the end of the war, it was outclassed, but probably the most iconic Japanese aircraft, the Zero. Much better than the Spitfire as well, in terms of its manoeuvrability. The only thing the Spitfire had going for it against this aircraft was altitude. And the fact that a lot of the Japanese pilots were not very experienced by the time the Spitfires got in amongst them. But in terms of a pure aircraft, this Zero outclassed the Spitfire in almost every regard. Okay, so how have I built this? Unsurprisingly, turn fighter build. You'll see this a lot during the next 2 or 3 hours. Lightweight power unit, lightweight airframe. Got a spare skill point there. Is it worth assigning? Probably is, actually. So we'll assign it to that, because these things, like most Japanese aircraft, are notoriously bad at catching fire. The Army Tech Tree equivalent to the Tier 3. Okay. Oh yes, so the Key 27 is the Tech Tree aircraft. Is it better? To be honest, I really couldn't say. So what's this aircraft got over its predecessor, which was the A5M? Let's select the A5M again. Let's get the comparison up. Much better armament. Beginning to get into good armament now. Survivability is still poor. The airspeed is a little bit better. Surprisingly not that much better. Still very slow. On a big map this aircraft struggles. The one that's coming up. Manoeuvrability though, as you can see, the way I've built it and the investment I've made in pilot skills, far better. And the altitude performance is still nothing to write home about. So let's get into the A6M1. Let's see what we can do. And I really cut my teeth in this game on this sort of aircraft. These and the Spitfires. I was a turn fighter. I didn't really understand anything else. and to some degree that's still reflected in my pay. I'm much more comfortable in turn fighters than I am in anything else. However, I have begun to realise they have their limitations, and particularly at high tiers, turn fighting is not the way that you're going to win a game usually. Nice map. Bottom tier. Bow fighter will rip me to shreds. P40 will rip me to shreds. That won't. I will outturn that. I will outturn that. They've got a lot of good aircraft. Arzon not so bad either. Oh, their bow fighter has just got disconnected. Let's hope he comes back for their sake. Only one specialised aircraft beside. Be interesting to see what the BF-109B does. If he comes up against me. If he tries to turn with me, it's death. If he flies away from me, I'm dead.
Show me what you can do, pilots. Let's roll.
Pretty decent range on the weapons as well, if I remember. 20mm cannons, 1900 feet, 1400 on the shorter range. And the 20mm do pack a punch. But you've got to manage them. You can't just fire and forget. This is where you have to start learning your craft in terms of gun management. You can't just put your finger on the trigger and fire forever. Yeah, I think they are good looking aircraft, Pete. Zeros. Light wing loading as well, which is why they're more manoeuvrable than the Spitfires. I didn't get clobbered by that bow fighter. Don't want to be continuing to go for him. Let's go for this one. Now we can go for the bow fighter again. Not a pursuit aircraft. It's very much an aircraft to get stuck in at close range. Got it. Very good. Hardly need repairs. Got them already. We've got the centre. The enemy has got his bomber over the local garrison. Got lots of aircraft going into the local garrison. That's where I shall go. It wouldn't surprise me in the slightest. If you were used to a very light wing loading and a highly manoeuvrable aircraft, you would absolutely hate a high energy fighter at first, until you realised you had all the advantages of speed and altitude, and then you'd start thinking, oh, hang on, I fly it slightly differently. I've actually got all the advantages, because basically the high energy aircraft control the engagement. Or at least that's what they should do. They shouldn't throw away the advantage of being able to control the engagement. Great, the ground attack is having a go at me. Is that a human ground attack? What a horrible little so-and-so. Let's just give him a bit of a tickle. Unfortunately, because he got my engine, I'm not able to do anything about him. Go down, please. Thank you. Now I need to regain some health. That ground attacker actually messed me up quite badly. Oh, the BF-109's caught me on the ground. And because I've got no health, he only needs a couple of shots to get me. That's a shame. We'll have another go at that, though. Actually, we need to take the middle. I don't know, actually. The way my team is disposed, I think I'm probably better off over here. We've had a dropout. Oh, no, we haven't. But we've had somebody leave the battle. That's annoying. My team have now flopped on this sector. I thought we were going to take this quite easily. You know what? That Grand Attacker really did a good job. He put me in such a bad state. I wasn't able to take the sector. Give it another go, though. I think at the moment it's the right decision, because we've almost got no presence in the middle. I don't know where the team is. Right, I need to take the lower aircraft. Both I feel like he's coming for me. I've got Boomerang coming for me as well. Both fighters. That's because there are no other aircraft here. Suddenly, from having a very promising start, my team is really struggling to make an effect. Again, I've got no... Where is the team? What are they doing? Okay, so the middle's now the right place to go. I think the team are failing to appreciate that it's sectors that win battles, and they're concentrating on knocking down aircraft outside of sectors. I need to make sure I get this now. So, yeah, the team is really... Look at that, 5 of them all in there, and we need sectors. Come on, team, you need to concentrate. You are fighting in... Why is the ground attacker in there? Circling around. That's my pet hate. One of my pet hates in this game. Ground attackers that fail to leave sectors and start dogfighting. Really irritating. Got my pilot out. Fortunately, he's going to try and dogfight with me, which is a mistake. Is him gone? Not coming back. Oh no. Don't want to go head on at a hurricane. And again, well played, BF109. Twice he picked me off at the moments that suited him. He did exactly what he needed to do. I just couldn't get into that game. My team were flopping so badly. And they've lost the middle already. That's unbelievable. I don't know what they're doing. They're not defending and they're not attacking. What are they doing? Game lost. We started really strongly, but then we flopped over here, and then we didn't defend this, and then for some reason they obsessed over defending this garrison. We did eventually take this, but we lost it almost immediately. Terrible score for the Spitfire 1A. BF109 acquitted himself in terms of points, but as I say, we just didn't seem to understand that we needed to take sectors. And I got sorted out by the BF109 twice. I did worry, say right at the start, if he speeds in at me and uses his speed against me, I'm dead. And he did it twice at opportune moments. I just wasn't able to dominate. Okay, I'm a tier 4 in a tier 5 battle. You wouldn't necessarily expect that. But I didn't expect my team just not to understand that sectors were important. Was that a human ground attacker? I must go and have a look. IL2 mod. I suspect that was the guy I saw dogfighting in here. Please do not do that with your ground attackers. Take a sector, move on. At most, shoot down an enemy ground attacker that's there, and move on. Do not dogfight in sectors with your ground attackers. And that's what he was doing. I'm pretty sure our ground attacker was in here dogfighting. And that's part of the reason we've lost. Okay, battle is definitely lost. Return to hangar. Let's move on to the next zero. I'm disappointed with that. I felt we could win that battle. But as I say, the BF-109 certainly used exactly the right tactics against me, got me out twice at exactly the right moments. Well played to him. Big fat raspberry to the ground attacker if that was him dogfighting over a garrison that we owned when we were 3-2 down. May have been the bot, but the bots don't generally do that, so I suspect it was the human. Can't be sure though. Let's go to the Tier 5. We're going to have two aircraft at Tier 5 that we're going to fly. We'll do the Tech Tree one first, the A6M2. Again, a 0. You won't be surprised to learn that this is a manoeuvrability build again. Gun armament goes up slightly. Survivability goes up a couple of points, but we're still talking about a very fragile aircraft that catches fire easily. Airspeed is quite a bit better, I'm pleased to say. If there's one thing that I really don't like about the Tier 4, it's so slow. Manoeuvrability is down a bit given the way I've built it, but it's still 106. That's plenty enough to outturn almost anything. With the exception of perhaps a really well built XP55 at Tier 6. And altitude performance is increased slightly, but still a low altitude aircraft. As you can see, let's select it off. And the reason we've got slightly less manoeuvrability is we have actually put a polished skin on this aircraft, which reduces manoeuvrability a bit in order to give it a bit more speed. Familiar builds here, aerobatics and aerodynamics and aerobatics expert, and then I've gone for Engine Guru 1, interestingly, to try and give it a bit more speed. Here we go with the A6M20, again a carrier-based aircraft. Nice camouflage on this as well. How do you change the crosshairs in the game? Hello, Target Boy. Basically, you need modifications. If you look below the stream, Target Boy, you'll see a link to a place you can find, for instance, Grandpa's collection of mods. It's not a mod pack. It's a collection of mods you have to install manually yourself. And if you don't know how to do that, you can look at my video, which talks all about mods, and notes from the Control Tower video on my YouTube channel. Grandpa has got some mods, a couple of the mud pack which deal with their crosshairs. In fact, I'm pretty sure this is a Grandpa's mod I'm using. No, it's not actually. I've changed it to a Russian one for a specific reason. It allows me to orientate my aircraft correctly. This is a bad map for this aircraft. So go and have a look at Grandpa's mods, learn how to install the mods, and then you can change your... It's a little bit fiddly with Grandpa's. You might be better getting Dr. Sinister's mod pack and picking off a crosshair from there. There's a link to Dr. Sinister's mod pack below the stream as well, Target Boy. Right, so unusually, in almost any other aircraft, I would go straight to the military base. This one, no. So what we'll try and do is we'll try and take the airfield and then try and push on to their military base in the hope that I can shoot down a ground attacker or two. Bottom tier again, they have a Spitfire DB. That won't outturn me. It will give me a hard time in terms of guns. And now you really do need to manage the guns on this one. I didn't finish him off because I realised I had something behind me. As it happens, we've taken the airfield. It's probably worth trying to get to... actually, maybe not. We've got a bomber going into the military base. If he bombs the target, then I'll have a chance. No. Centre it is then. Good job done by somebody over there. They've got a human bomber and a P2. Clearly knew what he was doing. See what we can do here. As I say, this is not a good map for this plane. Military bases are not somewhere this airplane is comfortable. And those are the key sectors on this map. Right, let's go and see if we can pick off the boomerang. That's a yes. very fast aircraft here. I need to get down, to have a look behind. Spitfire's coming in fast. I'm going to let him continue coming in for the moment. But I actually have seen him fly around this. And interestingly, yes, as I suspected, the Spitfire came straight for me. And is now trying to outturn me. That's not going to work for you. And has got himself suckered into a turn fight and has basically thrown himself on the ground in frustration, or maybe a smart move. Lost the fight. Let's go and get an aircraft and start somewhere else. Let's go and try and defend this airfield. Actually, no, we don't need to. Nothing there. There's a ground attacker in the military base. That's probably worth me going for. Yeah, especially as he's flying away from me. At least get them focused. Ah, their bomber is at low level as well. That's the one that we really need to focus. Spitfire's seen it and is going for him. I'm going to help. Successfully chased him off. I don't actually mind if I lose the aircraft, provided he just doesn't get back to the military base. Good. Chased him off the military base, that was really important. Good, that was really important as well, and I'm pleased I was able to kill him before we lost the base. Oh, that's really frustrating. We've got theirs though, so I think he's going to get shot down before. Yeah, the bot's going to. No, the Spitfire's going to shoot him. He's going to get it out of the base anyway, so we may as well shoot him. Oh, well done, Spitfire. Nice ram. We've got a lot of points advantage here, so we're probably okay. Did just manage to get him at that extreme range. Didn't quite finish him off, but we're in a good place now. Right, so not a very nice map for this aircraft, but I've done okay. I've made some important interventions, the most important of which is killing that bomber and allowing us to hold on to our military base for a lot longer than we otherwise would have. Just hold off there. Oh, he blew up. Oh no, something shot him down. Idiot. Idiot bot shot him down. Can always rely on the bots to do the wrong thing. I was trying to save him for the base unlocking, and the bot just came in and said, "Thank you very much. If you won't kill him, I will." Don't care about the base unlocking. Bots don't understand that. There we go. Again, bottom tier, I've done alright. Got the victory. Not a turn fight map, that one. But I acquitted myself reasonably well. And as I say, a couple of critical interventions. Well, certainly one critical intervention. That was knocking down the PE2 when it was trying to take our military base. Now, we did eventually lose that military base, but we lost it a lot later than otherwise we would have. Thank you for your question, Phalanx. Good morning to you. Actually, I don't really like any of the Tier 4 ground attack aircraft or the Tier 5s. But if I would just break away from these zeros for a second, Tier 4, Tier 5, ground attackers. This one, the Focke-Wulf 189C, I think is probably the most versatile. It's not got great bombs, but it's got sort of decent guns, and you can actually put it about and shoot down enemy aircraft with it if you be careful. After that, the Tier 5, I hesitate to recommend a premium, but I preferred this premium because it has the rear gunner. You're a little bit stuck with the other ones. You've got the rear gunner on the Junkers 87. No rear gunner on this Bisha. And the HS-129 is basically just for shooting guns. The IL-2 standard has no rear gunner either, so it's a bit weak, but it's got better ordnance. The HS-129B, again, struggles a bit because it's really only got the gun. So out of all of those, there's only one. Put it this way, if I was forced to fly either a Tier 4 or a Tier 5 ground attack aircraft, it's this one. It's the most versatile. The others are a bit dull, a bit limited. I hope that helps. So we've just flown the Tier 5-0. Let's get back to that. Japanese aircraft. Take that off. We're on the Tier 5-0. Let's just select it again. We've got another Tier 5-0 to fly. So here's the Tier 5 that I've just flown. Now we fly a very different aircraft. Same airframe. Look at the armament. +9. This thing has horrible cannons. They need very careful management. But if you can land shots with them, and they're not that hard to land shots with, these are devastating guns. Survivability is a bit down. The airspeed is a bit down. The maneuverability is a bit down. And the altitude performance is no better. But that's partly because of the pilot I've got in it. Now let's see what happens when I put a really good pilot in there. And let's put in my KI-94-2 pilot. And now let's do that comparison again. So I'm going to reselect the A6M2, and now we'll do the comparison with the A6M3. Armament is still better. You can see the survivability is still a bit down. The airspeed is a bit down. Maneuverability is now the same. So you've got a dogfighter again. And your altitude performance is the same as well. So this becomes a decent aircraft. Now, what have we got? Go to the A6M3. We have two 30mm cannons. This can be vicious in the right circumstances, highly limited in other circumstances. Let's go and see what we can do. Just have a note of the range, 1640 feet, so your range is a bit less. But if you can get behind aircraft at the right sort of range, this thing will absolutely murder them, but you must not overheat these guns. Which aircraft would I recommend for hitting ground targets? Tier 4. Well, again, Focke-Wulf 189C would be my choice, but you also have the bombers. I don't really know the bombers. The AR-2 seems a capable bomber, so I'd probably recommend that. I don't know the German one particularly well, so I can't really say whether it's better or worse. If you're talking about assisting, I would use the HS-129, because then you can just shoot guns out. The tokens are useful, Assassin, especially if you want to specialise aircraft. Again, I've got a video on how to get tokens and how to use them on my YouTube channel. So if you're not aware of my YouTube channel and you'd like to find out about that, do a search on my channel for tokens. It should come up with the relevant video. Thanks for that, Pete, and good morning to you. Oh, again, I really must take this reshade mod off. I really struggle on this map. Probably bottom tier again. Yeah, I've been bottom tier every time so far. One of their Spitfires is not in the battle. Let's go in and see if we can sort them out in the command centre. Going behind the Spitfire. Spitfire will see what's up ahead. I will then be able to probably shoot it whilst they're looking at the Spitfire. That's the theory. He's also taking the AA fire. I will start taking AA fire now, but wow. All of the enemy, the air defence aircraft were at the back of the map. Sector, rather. That's probably the AFK Spitfire. I was going to say I'll leave him alone, but you just saw I mincemeated him at long distance. If I get into closer battle, you can see these guns are really going to take effect. Gone. And saved the Spitfire as well. Looks like he was struggling with that boomerang. Okay, let's go and see if we can take the airfield, since there's not anything to do here. Yeah, he really was struggling against that boomerang. But as you saw, I know it was a tier 4 fighter, but a couple of shots and it was gone. Okay, forget that. Disengage. It's too far away. Oh, wow, really? None of those shots hit? Oh, he's flown away again, so that's fine. Still got the command centre. We've got our plants. They've got their plants. Spitfires come over here as well. That boomerang down there is probably my next target. Okay, well, okay. I'm going to try and take a ground target. It's not really what this is about, but got nothing else to shoot for the moment, which is a bit frustrating. We're in danger of losing the command centre. I'm hoping the Spitfire's going to go back there. It's faster than me. Not so good at ground targets. And we've got air defence aircraft back, so I'm going to abandon that. Saw the cannons take effect there.
The airfield is ours. Utilize this advantage.
There we go. Spitfire stayed here for some reason.
Attack the command center. Be
Okay,
cautious.
let's get back. We actually are behind as well, so they clearly got their plant a long time before we got ours. Really? The same Spitfire was AFK in the previous game? Okay. It's not a good sign. Hello, Ground Attacker. Did you enjoy that? As you can see, the IL-2 absolutely melted before my guns there. It's got out of my range. A couple of big hits into a high hit point pool Focke-Wulf here. Looks like we've now got control of this battlefield. Looks like I'm chasing down the boomerang. I'm not going to go for the bomber, that's too high. Or boomerang. Boom. That was a tier 6 course there that I melted away there. Let's go back to the middle. Still not won this game. Get a plant count though in 12 seconds. That will considerably change the situation, even though we have just lost the middle. I'd like to think we could take this back fairly quickly. There goes the count, so we're now 200 points ahead. I am going to allow you to come... Oh, I might not actually.
There's a heavy storm here. Unable to proceed. Returning to base. Do you copy?
Okay.
I'm proud of you, pilots. Head back.
Well, we were dominant there, so... But you did get to see how the aircraft can absolutely splat opponents on occasion. Even tier 6s in front of those cannons will melt. That is sort of an interesting premium. It probably is worth picking up, particularly if you like your turn fighters. Because you'll find those cannons, provided you can manage the cannons, you'll probably find those to your taste. But you do need to manage them. And even against tier 6s, certainly multi-roles of fighters, you'll melt the enemy with those. So yeah, pretty horrible aircraft to be confronted by. But slow, low altitude performance. Use your high energy tactics against it and you'll be fine, provided you don't go head on. And even if you do get head on, if you've got lots of hit points, those cannons overheat very quickly. So that was the Tier 5 premium aircraft, the A6M3 Experimental with its huge cannons. Hello Tom, how are you? Good to have you along. What will be early morning for you. Very early morning. So we're now going to go up to Tier 6. What we'll do is we'll select off the Tier 5 tech tree aircraft again. And now we'll compare it to the Tier 6. Not the Army aircraft, not the Ki 88, not the Ki 61, but the A6M5. And this is the last of the zeros. And unsurprisingly, thank you very much for that. Arch Dave, thank you very much for your subscription. Your 4th month in a row. Much appreciated. Lost my train of thought. So here we go. Last of the zeros. Let's select the A6M2 again. How does the A6M5 stack up against it? Gun armament has gone up quite a lot. Really punchy. Airspeed has gone up quite a lot. Maneuverability, the way I've built it, and because I've got a special pilot in it, is fantastic. And I have been a bit of a meme lord here. I've absolutely maximised this aircraft's turning ability. I've completely neglected to put feed on. Hi Pete, thank you very much for that cheer. I've neglected to put speed on this. There's so much manoeuvrability in this aircraft. You could probably put a bit of speed into it and still have manoeuvrability in hand to take on virtually anything. But in this configuration, there is nothing, repeat, nothing in the game that will outturn this aircraft. And altitude performance has improved a bit. So why is it such a lethal beast at turning? Well, I've put special project equipment on it, both lightweight power unit and lightweight airframe, so that's a filthy thing to do, but you can't get this equipment anymore, and it's flat out better than even the experimental equipment. And it has a special pilot which increases the manoeuvrability, Akane. Increases the manoeuvrability and damage inflicted by the forward-firing weapons by 10%, only for the A6M5 aircraft. She does have another skill, which is the Hunter's Grip, which increases the burst length and firing range of the forward armament. So this is a lethal combination. However, it is not quick. On a big map, it will struggle, but in a turn fight, provided it's one-on-one, you will win with this configuration. I've even put a chrome skin on it to try and improve the speed a bit. You'll notice I have got a polished skin on it as well, which reduces the manoeuvrability. I could get this up to around about 128, maybe even 130 if I took the polished skin off. Let's go and do the A6M5. Let's see what sort of a map we get. Central repair base on a small map would be perfect, in theory. A big 5-sector map at tier 7 would be horrible. $4.30. Okay, so you're on the eastern seaboard, or at least in the eastern daylight savings time at the moment, Tom. So very early good morning to you. Thank you for being here. Can't sleep, I guess. Yeah, very shiny. I mean, as I say, the limitation of this aircraft, well, the two limitations in particular are the fact that it has very little speed performance and not very good altitude performance. But as a low to mid altitude turn fighter in this configuration, it's unstoppable. And so that's the central region arch, Dave. So central daylight savings time at the moment for you. And we've got the horrible map. Really unsuited to this aircraft. Mining plant and military base, and I will struggle to do well here. They've got a B-32 as well. We do have an IL-10. I can probably go and take out a couple of guns here, or I might try and make a play here. And the reason being is if I get this, then our IL-2 can spawn, IL-10 can spawn there and try and attack this plant. Because otherwise he's got a very long flight to the enemy base. But they've got a B-32. It's going to be difficult. And the reason I'm not going for the military base is I've got no altitude performance. All of the aircraft are likely to be initially high there. If the ground attacker goes in, that's all well and good, but this isn't really the aircraft to be taking out the ground attacker. So I think this is the right play for me. Try and take this airfield and make it easy to get to this plant. I'm going to ask for support because I noticed I'm the only one who's going there. I've pulled a multi-roll who was going off for the plant. That's not so good. I'd rather have not pulled him off the plant, frankly. B-32 is already at their plant, I would suspect. No, he's done no damage, so in fact that's... Oh, they've got an F-7F who's doing work at that plant. Oh, Georgian Bay. I've been to Georgian... Well, I've been to... I know Georgian Bay. I have stood in the water and had the fish nibble my toes in Georgian Bay. No, sorry, not Georgian Bay, Hurontario Bay. So you know exactly where I am. So we've got our plant, they've got theirs, no surprises. No sign of the air defence aircraft here. I'm going to go and get myself some water in a minute. After this battle. My throat is dry. An awful lot of red here, and they've seen me before I've seen them, which gives them the advantage. Yeah, he's trying to get me, so now I've seen... go. You go. Go for the ones behind me then. Okay, this has not gone the way I expected. It's gone a good way. But we actually got 4 sectors to 1. And we've got this airfield, so I've done my job as far as I'm concerned. I've managed to get this airfield, and that will allow the ground attacker to spawn here and go for their plant. Tough fight, they really committed to this sector. Quite likely I didn't get sniped out by the Yak-9 actually. So we've lost the military base. This is not a repair base. I don't believe for a second this is logged, even though it's telling me it is, so I'm not going to crash the aircraft. Now then, can I support at the military base? I can, there's a fighter there, so let's... sorry, a mining plant. So we'll try and do that.
The enemy is launching rockets at us from the military base. Take action.
Focke-Wulf, what's the one behind him? Let's not lose sight of the fact that the Focke-Wulf is trying to tee me up. Two criticals. Fire and my pilot. That wasn't very friendly of you. F7F puts an end to my shenanigans. But we will defend this airfield. As I say, my ground attacker, I suspect, has spawned here, so he now goes into the plant and attacks it. I would have liked to have been alive to help him, but that wasn't to be. I'm going to have to clear out this multi-role from here. Then my primary objective will to try and take out these two after that. But we must get this multi-role out first. Especially as he's done so much work to try and take this base, apparently. Good. Try and avoid the heavy. Try and get behind the fighter. The heavies come for me again. May have to take him first, actually. I don't need to. Oh, and that gave the Spitfire the chance to get me. That was an awkward combination there. But we've still got this airfield, and we've now got the military base again, which is firing at their plant. I think tactically I've probably made about the best decision possible I could on this map. Quite an unusual decision, to be truthful, and we very nearly didn't make it work, but I did get this airfield, and we've been in good stead ever since. I'm going to say thank you for shooting me down, Spitfire. Time for you to go back to base. Goodbye. Let's try and get this multi-roll out. The heavy's there again, I'd like to get him out as well.
Hang in there. You'll soon be cut off from support. I say again, support will not be available.
We'll kill this for this. There we go. Game secured. And I think on a really difficult map I've done really well. Two fighters coming in at me at different angles, which is awkward. That Spitfire's wondering how on earth I've turned so quickly on him. There we go. completely unsuitable map, and just as well I had the right team with me, but because I had the right team with me, I made the right tactical decision to seize this. My team secured this sector very quickly, held onto this for longer than the enemy as well. I then gave them the platform to go and attack this plant, and eventually we took that as well. Really happy with my battle decisions there. Mine looks different because it's heavily modded, Archdave, and in fact these mods are going to come off because there are some maps where I can't see the aircraft against the background. But there's a reshade mod on, and I've also removed the fog, clouds, glare and dirt. And if you're thinking that gives you an advantage, it doesn't, because you doesn't render the aircraft any sooner. They remain hidden as if they were behind the clouds. But the reshade mod has made things a lot difficult for me. I'm experimenting with the look of the game at the moment because I've lost most of the vision in this right eye. Lost that back in March. Didn't think I was going to be able to play this game for a while. But it turns out I'm good enough, got good enough vision left in this eye to be able to play the game. But I am modding it to try and help my eyesight. But at the moment I've gone down the wrong route. The reshade mod I will reconfigure to see if I can get it to be any better. If I can't, I will take it off. And I'm thinking about taking the clouds mod off as well. So don't rush in, Archdave. I would recommend you wait until I've come to the end of my experiments. What I will say is that removing the clouds really does make the game look very, very attractive on certain maps. But it's not good for my visibility. Right, so we've got that A6M5 done. As you've seen, really good turn fighter against a lot of opposition. I was able to turn the airfield, and I think that played a fairly important part in winning that game. So we're now going to go up to the A7M, but before we do that I'm going off to get some water. I'll be back in a moment. Right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for being patient. Let's just have some of that water now. The graphics look crisper at long distance. At short distance, they're actually a bit pixelated. There are two more settings of the reshade mod that I'm going to try, but I'm not confident that's going to help. But I am having trouble seeing aircraft against land backgrounds, particularly on Asian border maps. So, as I say, Archdave, I'd recommend that you wait until I've concluded my investigations, and I'll tell you all about it. So, what have we got next? Well, we've got the A7M. So let's just get the comparison up. Again, the gun armament, a big step up again. Survivability, a little bit better, but this is still very fragile, as indeed all the Japanese aircraft are, and that's going to be a feature all the way through the line. Airspeed, not much faster. Manoeuvrability, well, it's a bit of an unfair comparison. This manoeuvrability is very good. It looks horrible because it's 20 down on the previous aircraft, but that's because that is a very, very highly configured aircraft with a special pilot. But the altitude performance is not much better. This aircraft is not as good as the Ki 84, but it's pretty pokey. The Mitsubishi A7M Reppu, or Rep I suspect, I'm not quite sure whether the U is pronounced or not, is meant to be the successor to the Zero. I'm not sure it actually managed to make it into much. In fact, actually, it didn't. This was still in prototype stage by 1945, so didn't actually make it into operational service. By this time, the end of the war, the Zeros were being outclassed, and they needed a replacement. And this was meant to be the replacement that was coming up for the Navy, but never made it into operational service. So here we go. Again, on the right map, smallish map, central repair base is ideal. This can be a deadly aircraft. It's not as versatile as the Ki-84, but it doesn't have the altitude performance. Let's see what we can do. Interesting comment, Archdave, which I'll comment on in a second. Livio Fime, I've mispronounced this terribly. Livio, I'm going to just leave it at. Thank you so much for that follow. Welcome to the community. And that looked Romanian to me, so I apologise profusely for mangling your name, but I'm glad to have you along. Tactical awareness is far more important, I would suggest, than the aircraft you are flying, or the equipment you mount, the consumables you use, or the pilot's training.
You are approaching the front line.
And I am constantly looking at the tactical situation to see if I'm doing the right thing. Now, there are some maps where your aircraft is really not suitable, but you can still make an impact if things go your way. The previous battle was a perfect example of that. This map, if I can secure the airbase, I might be able to sit here all game and defend it. It does really depend. But my options are limited if we don't, and I can't sit here and just defend the airbase, because I can really only go for the garrisons, unless there happen to be enemy aircraft available to shoot down at the plants. Looking at the mini-map, there are no immediate threats to me. We've now got the airfield, so I can forget about the air defence aircraft. I can set about this tornado. And there is a possibility here that I'll now be allowed to just sit here over a repair base, constantly getting repairs and defend to my heart's content and farm the enemy. It will depend on whether we can get the plant before they do. So the heavy will actually be the first. Aware of the Spitfire behind me. I'm watching the fact that he's coming towards me. So that's a perfect example of being aware of what's going on around you. I knew the Spitfire was around and would probably try and get me once I was busy with the heavy. And having anticipated that, I was able to turn on him before he was able to actually do anything significant to me. Did set me on fire, but remember, this is a repair base. However, it is not going well. We are going to lose our plant. I'm not going to be able to sit here forever. So what I'm going to go and do is try and take this garrison. The enemy has invested everything they can, virtually, at that location. We are in huge trouble here, because it looks like they're also going to get the other plant, and I am not in the aircraft to affect this battle. Now, normally, what I would consider doing is dumping this aircraft and getting into a heavy, or possibly ground attacker. I had to defend here. But because this is a tech tree stream, I can't dump this aircraft unless I fly it again. So we've now lost our local plant. And we're not going to get the other plant anytime soon. So yeah, we're in masses of trouble here. Should burn out. finish him off anyway. Oh, Tiger Cat, just fly away. Lucky. Very lucky. Oh, looks like we might get that plant after all. I might be able to sit here and defend, but we're probably quite a long way behind now, and they're going to get a count off their plant a long time before we do, assuming we get that. Something else that can help you with turn fighters is to set up a keybind on lock next target. So if you notice, I'm scrolling through targets using the keybind. If you're in a turn fighter, the one that's nearest to you is probably the one you want to go for. If you're in a heavy, the second nearest one might be the one you want to go for. But it can actually help you decide which way you want to go. Let's get rid of Mick the Conqueror, he's being a pest. So even as I was shooting that tornado, I was looking at the minimap to see what I needed to do. And I was already aware that I want to get on these aircraft. I knew that the Yak-9 was likely to shoot an aircraft down. And the reason I've gone for him is because he's got such a big gun, I don't want to take the chance of him sniping me. Even damaged, I can now turn the Spitfire, but I'm probably going to go down now. Yeah, it's the worst possible time to be shot down. Just after I've shot down their Spitfire. That means I've got to do it all over again. Going to get a count, but we'll lose that plant. It's a shame, really. I would definitely have changed my aircraft here. So the count will go in and put us ahead, but then they will get the overlapping count in 50 seconds time. So let's go and try and take this airfield back. And this is actually terrible for me. I've got no support in here. The Yak-9, I can't afford to let him get a bead on me, and I've got something else shooting me in and this is a terrible situation for a Japanese aircraft. I gambled on that multi-rule shooting the Yak-9, which is what he did, but we're fighting outside the sectors, although we're 4 sectors to 1 up at the moment. I knew where to turn because I used my X key. Got it. Good. I'm out. Mick the Conqueror clearly not playing to win, but just focusing me. But we're going to get a count off the plant in 10 seconds. That will win the game. So I've done the right thing. That was a tough battle. It didn't look very promising at the start when they flooded over here and took our plant. Fortunately, we took their plant eventually. And because I did so much work in the centre, we had the edge. Despite the fact they had the counters of the plant coming in first. So there you go. Under pressure, the entire game, the A7M there acquitted itself perfectly. And for the most part, we had that airfield for the entire game, and that gave us the platform to be able to get to other sectors and win. So tough battle, good win. Yeah, you want to watch 2-on-2s, 2-on-1s in Japanese aircraft. It's alright when everybody's fighting one-on-one in a big furball, but if two enemy aircraft concentrate on you, particularly if it's a fighter and a heavy, then the Japanese aircraft are really struggle. Okay, so we've got another premium aircraft that we need to fly. I'm just going to get up and close the curtains though. Looks like I've got a game crash actually, so... So, as I said at the start of the stream, started cloudy in the UK. We're promised a pleasant day and it's now turned sunny, which is why I've had to close the curtains. Just waiting for the game to crash. I could force it. Yeah, it was quite a good game. I went off and helped to take that garrison. Wow, this is taking forever to crash. Shall I force it? I'm just about to start a PowerShell session. Yeah, I have been disconnected. He's just told me I'm disconnected now. What I'm going to do, I'm going to kill the orphan session, which I'm pretty sure will exist. Get process name like warplanes. Oh, it has actually come back. The orphan session was cleared itself. Yes, I've got remember me ticked. So of course it doesn't know my password. There we go. Going in now. Going to see a blank screen in a moment. As we go in, it gives me a chance to get more water. Back of the throat is really dry this morning. Always unpleasant when you're trying to do a long stream. How are we doing? Hour and 31. Okay, so we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 more aircraft to fly. That's about the right amount of time, actually. What are we going to fly next? Well, we're going to fly this J4-8M. Sorry, I've just said 8M. J4M, which is a multi-role. Get a better pilot in. It's not really comparable to the fighters, so I'm not going to compare it to them. With the key 94-2 pilot in there. What's this got? It's this 30mm. In many respects, it resembles that BF-109G I was flying earlier, except this has bombs. But in terms of armament, it's quite similar, but you've got two 20mm instead of 13mm, so this hits quite a lot harder. And this is a very overlooked aircraft in the game. Now, I'm not going to say I recommend you buy this as a premium, but you could do worse. And I find it quite an enjoyable aircraft to fly most of the time. As far as its history is concerned, let's just go and have a look at Wikipedia and see if there's anything I can pull up for it. So the Mitsubishi J4M, experimental aircraft, and it never got beyond the design stage, so this is another paper plane. Okay, so let's go. Let's go and see if we can muller things with that weaponry. If it's 2 against 1. Well, actually, to be fair, if the 2 aircraft are flown well, it doesn't really matter what plane you're in usually. The situation in which you will do well is if you get into a turn fight and you've got 2 enemies against you and they both turn the same way, and neither of them choose to go on the opposite direction. If you've got the better turn aircraft, then you can probably shoot them both down. I'm always aware of that situation. I will break off and turn to an opposite circle. Okay, Archdave, so if you press X and go for whoever's closest, that will probably work in a turn fighter. If you're in a multi-role, if you're in a heavy, I would suggest you actually press the X a couple of times. Have a quick look and see what the first one is as it goes through. If it's far away, you can go for it anyway, but if you're actually too close to the first one, there is a good chance that the second one, or maybe even the third one, will be something you can go for. But it's a good tactic to use that keybind. Lock closest target. It really helps you in a furball, particularly with fighters, to decide who's close to you and who you're going to try and shoot. Okay, I've got a couple of bombs on bottom tier, which means that the bombs may not take out the gun emplacement, but that's probably my favourite. They've got a B-29C, we've got an IL-20. I know this guy. I'm not expecting great things for him. They've also got a, oh wow, an ME-329. Got an IL-10. Wow, I really think they've got quite a lot of an advantage here. Oh, they've got a B-32 as well. Okay. Well, this thing has got good weaponry, but it's also quite fragile. So going up against bombers, I'm never going to go up against the B-29C from behind. I'd probably struggle against the B-32. They have 3 aircraft that can attack the ground here. Okay, it's a map with a couple of command centres. It could be better for them, but it's not bad. Hurried that first bomb. Second bomb, I should say. So that was the double key press, so I now know where the second aircraft is and can go for that. The other one's too near to me, I can't turn with it. There we go. Got the airfield, let's try and get this garrison. Heavy's quite a long way up, and this hasn't got high altitude performance. Sadly, they've taken the garrison almost immediately, so change of plan. We're going to go through the centre and see if we can get to their command centre. And I'm not going anywhere near that B-29C if I can avoid it. Quite deliberately aimed at that one. Of course the Yak 9U doesn't miss. It's a bot. Can't miss, can it? So what I did was I shot off the J4M that was trying to shoot down one of my team's aircraft. Sadly, I then confronted the Yak, which of course being a bot just does not miss. He's dead, so now we can try and get after this command centre. Not going to have bombs for a long time, so I'm going to have to do it with aircraft. There's a ground attacker still in there. Interesting. Yeah, I can actually turn and have a go at him, but I think he's going to get out of the sector, unfortunately. He didn't. Probably was going to crash, actually. I could have left him alone. That didn't die. Getting hit that hard. Why are you in here? All you've done is just fed your hit points to me. Let my guns overheat, so I need to disengage. There we go, we've got this. Bad mistake by the ground attacker to coming back into this base and feed us his hit points. Might shoot him down again. Would it be worth trying to defend this? I don't think it would, probably. But no. It's that multi-roll. Probably not going to be able to defend this for very much longer, I suspect. I actually don't know what their ME329 is doing. Is he waiting for me to be destroyed before he comes in? Or is he actually He's dogfighting. He's playing as a dogfighter. Get that, I want to try. Oh. Really? Where did that come from? The B-29C's in here. Just as I lose my engine. He's got almost no health, but I can't get to him. And the heavy's coming as well. And that's my engine gone again. So I can't chase the heavy down. Okay, so we're going to try and take this again. No, ignoring that. I'd be behind him. Alex Golan Media. That came at the wrong moment. But thank you for your follow, Alex Golan Media. Welcome to the community. Nice to have you along. So we're gradually getting crushed by the B-29 and the B-32. Reginald has actually acquitted himself pretty well in this battle. Pleased to say. I'm going to go and support him. He's trying to get to the command centre. Oh no, I need to try and take this... He's flown... mind you, I think actually I know why he's flying as a ground attacker. Sorry, a dogfighter. It's because he can't get anything done because of the two bombers. Let's go and try and take this multi-roll. Ah, drat, he got Reginald. Hoping, oh, we repaired that. Not going to get away from him. Let's make sure I'm not in the sector. Scoreline's out. My game's over, unfortunately. BF-109G's decided to come back to spawn. I don't know why. But unfortunately for him, he's got me. He's a very lucky boy to find a target there. I have no idea why he's hanging around spawn. Did as much as I could there, but basically this is a horrible, horrible, horrible mismatch. They've got 3 ground attacking aircraft, a B-29C, which as we all know is overpowered. I'm going to check Terror Tourist and see if he's actually one of those who plays this aircraft to death. They've also got a B-32. To be fair, their ME-329 has spent his entire battle trying to dogfight, but it doesn't really matter. We are now sinking. I was very unlucky to find the BF-109G here. I don't know what he was doing here. Oh, Corsair. Unfortunate battle for him. First one of the day really, but this is one of Wargaming's gross mismatches. Why it put 2 bombers on one side, I have no idea. It matched off the ground attackers and then put 2 bombers over here. Surely it could have put one of the bombers on the other side. Really, really, really disappointing. And again, the B-29C making a mess of games and ruining it for everybody, including those on his own team. And the result of the B-29C being in that game was that their ground attacker, their ME-329, actually didn't bother trying to ground attack. He spent his entire game dogfighting, because basically he had nothing to do. Really is a bad aircraft, the B-29C, and it needs a big nerf. It actually needs withdrawing from the game, in my opinion. but the World of Warplanes team is completely oblivious to that, and of course have put it on sale. Let's just go and have a quick look at Territorius. Let's see if he spams that aircraft. Well, we have somebody who spams the EF-131. The Boeing Super Fortress is relatively high. There's the another overpowered bomber, and he also spams his I5. And that's why he's got 73%. I would bet my bottom dollar his win rate on aircraft which aren't overpowered or aren't tier 1 is probably around about 50 or less. There we go. Game ruined by a bomber spammer, although not particularly this bomber. First one of the day, but it is a thing in this game, I'm afraid. Right, so we're now going to have a change of tack. We have finished the fighters in the Japanese Navy Air Service. We're going up to tier 8. We're going to play the first of the multi-rolls. These are quite manoeuvrable. They've got mighty guns, although they're short range. They've got a couple of useful bombs as well. These never existed. This thing got into prototype, if I remember correctly, this particular one with the pusher engine. And then there's a couple of jets based on the same concept that follow it. Those were completely and utterly mythical aircraft. So this was regarded as an interceptor plane by the Japanese Navy for the American bomber flights, but in this game it's strictly a multi-role and doesn't have the altitude performance of that. We will just highlight the guns though compared to the Reppu. And as you can see, the guns are a massive step up from tier 7 to tier 8. The minus 35 there is showing you that the A7M's guns are much worse than this gun, the guns on this. But as I say, they're relatively short range, 1903 feet. I've built this for mostly for manoeuvrability. Bombs are useful. 250. You can take out gun emplacements at your own tier. So you might be able to do something useful with these. You might even get a Gabreski's in one of these. And it's going to be much the same for the next two aircraft as well, except that they have jet engines. Okay, so this was designed to be a highly manoeuvrable interceptor. 2 prototypes finished before the end of the war, that was it. And therefore the following aircraft, the J-72 with its jet engine and the the W3 with its jet engine, were completely mythical. There was talk of putting in a jet engine here. So let's go off and see what we can do with this one. So what does the J mean in Navy parlance, Japanese Navy parlance? It means a land-based fighter. Think on that. Japanese Navy actually having a land-based fighter. Top tier. B-29, not specialised. Here's a J-8M. That's going to be the aircraft we fly next. Really badly, I suspect. We have a Tu-10, P-51H. Again, with Japanese aircraft, I'm going to take a cautious approach. I'm actually going to see if we can get our command centre first. And then that will allow me to see what's going on at the military base. Bearing in mind, at the military base, most things are likely to be high initially. And this aircraft doesn't have the altitude performance for that. So let's see if we can get this command centre under control quickly and then probably head towards the military base. Boom. Don't get in front of one of these. Well, don't get in front of one that can aim. As you can see, pretty manoeuvrable. Wow, that was close, whatever that was. Okay. Let's go and take a ground target out. I'm going to use the guns for this, actually. That one will do. That should be the one I need. There we go. So I've saved my ordnance. Now, do we want to take on... Yes, we do. Oh no, we don't want to ram it though. Okay, we've sorted that threat out. Got the military base, so in fact I'll go to the garrison. Is there a lot at the military base I can do? No, not really. There's a heavy there. There's a heavy chasing a ground attacker. Might be worth trying to get this. Come around the corner. Oh, it's a pancake as well. That's not going to like being hit by this. Going for the ground attacker first. Oh, they've got it. That's a shame. We'll try and save the ground attacker. No, let's kill him. He's going to get out of the centre. Don't want him going anywhere near our command centre. If I'd held off there, he would have got out of the sector, so there was no point in, no virtue in preserving him. Let's go and try and save the ground attacker again. Though it doesn't look as if he's being attacked at the moment, where he is now. Use the bombs, and I'm going to use them both so I get a reload. This should flip this sector. Here we go. Right, command centre has a multi-roll over it, so I'm going to go back to the command centre. Actually no, the military base is under more threat. Let's try and gather some boost. Might not get here quickly enough. No, I didn't get here quickly enough. I know there's a ground attacker down here somewhere. And again, I think he's going to get out of the sector. Might be worth just trying to keep hold of him. So I'm going to fly around this rock. Does that unlock? That's 9 seconds. No, he's going to get out. He's already out, so let's just destroy him.
The enemy is launching rockets at us from the military base. Take action.
Got the other 4 sectors, so we're right here. It's probably time for me to get another aircraft. Definitely, try and shoot this down, get another aircraft. Trouble is I need to be out of the sector to do this. Just couldn't quite get him. Now I've got him. Am I in the sector? No, let's get another aircraft. And then we'll go for the military base, see if we can get that. Ground attacker, will the multi-roll take the ground attacker? I still think it's more important to go to the military base. I should have bombs available fairly shortly. In fact, actually, the military base looks like... In fact, the bombers will get there first. I'm better off going to the command centre and shooting down these ground attackers. I'm pretty sure the bombers are going to finish off that military base.
Receiving reports about rapidly deteriorating weather conditions. The port will be unable to
wasted my time going there.
Victory is in sight. Keep it up.
It's up a long way. Yeah, too high for me.
That's it. There's no way to break through you now. You're on your own.
Too mobile for the Hornet, but he's probably just a wee bit too fast for me. Saw that previously. Looks like we're going to get superiority, potentially. Ooh, he's turning.
Complete control of the skies. Way to go.
The reason he turned is because that sector was lost. He's gone for the centre. So will I. Let's see if we can just squeeze out some more damage. Probably not. There we go. Okay.
We'll be waiting for you back home.
Well, I did my part in that battle. I wasn't the key factor. The key factor was that the B-29 was unspecialised and not as good as it might have been. Probably stock. Lucky us, is all I can say. Okay. Land base for intercepting bombers, Archdave. I don't think the intention was for it to be a multi-role, but it is in this game. Randolph, turn fighters. Look up, pitch up. Make sure you've got manual flaps. Make sure that you know how to use yaw as well, and also you probably need a bit of alternation of boost and air brake, and then you'll get your tightest turns. Quite difficult to get all those things in a combination on a keyboard, or even a joystick, but if you can get them combined, then you'll turn a lot better. Yeah, they're good. I mean, they'll take out ground attackers. I think they're pretty... I would call them black guns. Right. Before we move on to an aircraft that is very, very similar, except it has a jet engine, let's fly the aircraft that I haven't been looking forward to flying. Because I normally make a nonsense of flying it, and this is this copy of the HE-1363 Comet, I think it is. This aircraft was a joint development between the Army and the Navy. This is the Navy designation, the J8M. It's the Key 200 for the Army. Rocket-based aircraft. Shusui. I've mispronounced that, but sharp sword, basically, in Japanese. And it was based on the ME-163 Comet. Let's get a good pilot in there. Could really do with both engine boosts, but I don't think that's something I do on Japanese pilots very much. This is probably an aircraft where you should build a pilot specifically for it, because it's so unlike anything else in the Japanese line. I might consider doing that. I mean, I've got the free experience to build this pilot up. And where I would go is engine boost, engine guru 1, engine guru 2 immediately, and then follow that probably with marksman 1 and marksman 2, because the guns are very tricky as well. But we're going to compromise. We're going to put in the K94 pilot, and I put a bit of manoeuvrability into this aircraft because I find it really, really, really hard to get the guns on target. But if you want to, if you're good at that, you don't have a problem with that, then you would probably put in well, I'm not sure about an uprated engine on this aircraft. I probably wouldn't put an uprated engine on this plane. It's all about the boost. 5 seconds of boost, but basically look at the cruise speed, 164 miles an hour. Look at the boost speed. Basically, if you're cruising around, an uprated engine is not going to help you, and it will increase your fire risk. And I bet you the survivability on this is really low. It is horribly low. So even though I'd love to mount a medkit here, I can't, because this thing will catch fire and burn out. Here, though, you can put a polished skin on. But I put a lightweight wing frame on because I find it hard to get on target with these guns. And in the game that as I've configured it now, where lots of the map is quite dark for me, I'm going to really struggle. Up and down fighter, not a turn fighter in the slightest. pick your targets. Great for kiting people out of sectors. And if you can get the guns to work, you can dive on them and basically just boost away. They can't touch you. This is not a premium aircraft for the new player or the newer player. This is an aircraft which needs a lot of practice, and even an experienced player like me can't fly this plane well. Yeah, I know that the Americans call them Jawas. I've never called them Jawas, and I actually don't like the sound of the term. Especially as it wasn't an abbreviation. The J just meant land-based, and the M basically designated the manufacturer, which is probably Mitsubishi in this case. So I call them J7s. I never call them Jawas. That seems to be something that the Americans do. Don't know why. Yeah, GAA is natural prey for a J7 because of the big guns. You can just pile shots into you and take you down. Oh, right. Yeah, I suppose the Jabba the Hutt, perhaps. I don't know. But yes, the Americans seem to call them Jawas. I really don't think there's any precedent for that.
Get ready for battle. Good luck.
Okay, bottom tier. Okay, I think this might be a kiting session over garrisons and the like, trying to take out heavies. And then perhaps look at the airfield if it there's a favourable situation there. But certainly I don't want to be mixing it in the airfield amongst a lot of enemy aircraft. So, right, let's go and see if we can take garrisons.
You are approaching the front line. Off we go.
Oh, by the way, spectacular altitude performance. I'll just show you. Not in the yellow yet. Not in the yellow yet. There we go, 10,000 feet before I actually get into the yellow. It's one of the heavies. Where's the other one? There's the other one. See how quick this aircraft is, and that was after I'd boosted. I'd actually taken the boost off and I was still flying so fast. Pulled up to the heavies very, very quickly indeed. I might take on the RB-17 because it is actually a bot. Oh, awful shooting. Let's get some space so I can actually get some shooting in. I definitely wouldn't have done that against a human player, I can tell you for nothing. Okay, so we've got the RB-17 down. We'll wait for the pilot to come back in. Would love to mount a med kit, but as you saw with this aircraft, so high a fire risk, I just can't afford it. Come on, pilot, come back, please. Thank you. Okay. What's that? Is that a ground attacker? I'm going to leave that because that would mean dropping all of my altitude. Don't want to do that. I'm going to try and get across, see if we can get another garrison. Nice to pick up repairs, actually. Not sure I'm going to be able to do that. I think we ought to take the RB-17 on again once more. Lost a garrison somewhere, which is unfortunate. Actually, we lost the airfield, and I wanted repairs, didn't I? Oh, this is the... Right, so we don't fight this, we go do this. Boost away, gone. And if he follows me... well, I was going to say he's exposing himself to all of the other armour defence aircraft. I've just realised we've got nobody in that sector, so I'm just going to pull him along. He still appears to want to follow me. Drop the altitude now because I can. Oh my god, he's going to follow me right across the map. Oh, we can. I've just realised that this team has collapsed. We were 3-2 up a few minutes ago.
The enemy has control of all key objects. You cannot leave it.
Well, I can tell you something else this aircraft is not. It's not a carry aircraft. It absolutely cannot carry a battle. In fact, I can't even stay here because I'm being pursued by the multi-role now. That's the other human player. So basically, although I'm pulling them into places where they can't do any good, because they're so far ahead, it actually doesn't matter.
The enemy is about to win. Push harder.
What an appalling effort by this team. I don't know what happened. We seem to be doing alright, but now we've just completely collapsed. And to be fair, I don't think this has anything to do with me.
Turn back. The enemy
That was
force
appalling.
is too strong.
Absolutely appalling effort by this team. No way with these aircraft should we have lost that so badly. We lost everything. That was terrible. Yeah, some pretty rubbish scores there. That's a bit of a shame. Depending on time, we may come back and fly that again at the end of the stream and see if we can get a bit of a better battle there. But basically, it's not a carry aircraft. You need a team that can carry, and you can pick off your targets and assist and support. If your team is weak, which it was there, this aircraft will not carry you through the battle generally, unless you're absolutely superb in it. And as you saw there, although I was able to fly away from trouble, because my team was losing so heavily, flying away from trouble was exactly the wrong thing for me to be doing. Anyway, let's get into the J7-2. And how is it better than the J7-8? So we'll actually select the J7-1, sorry, the J7W1, beg your pardon. So the J7W2, the gun armament has gone up significantly in terms of its power. Wow. Still got the same bombs and rockets. Survivability is a little bit better. Airspeed is quite a bit better because it's a jet. The manoeuvrability is down, but that could just be the way I've built it. And the altitude performance is a little bit better. So let's go and see what I've done with this. And again, probably the manoeuvrability is down because I haven't improved certain aspects of the aircraft. So for instance, we just enhanced that. Enhance that. Can I do it twice? Yeah, I probably can do it twice actually, so I will. No, I can't. If we just do that comparison again very quickly, we'll see that the manoeuvrability is probably pretty much the same now. Yeah. Clearly, if you calibrate this, you're going to be able to take this up to about the same manoeuvrability as the J7W1. And for all intents and purposes, apart from being a little bit more powerful guns and a little bit faster, it's the same aircraft. So let's go and see what we can do in it. Does it? Okay, Randolph, I'll take your word for that. To me, it seems even easier to say J7. But there you go, that's just me. Okay, Tom, very early in the morning for you, signing off at 5:30, 20 to 6. I hope you're going off to get some sleep. So, what do you do with these when you're confronted with the EF-131s? Nothing. Again, this is one of these aircraft which has pretty much, like most of the aircraft at Tier 9 and 10, been made redundant by the EF-131. There's a handful of planes that are competitive at Tiers 9 and 10 these days. This is not one of them. But you could say that of almost all of the aircraft, with the exception of the Javelin, maybe the Su-10, because that's got a really, really vicious rear gun compared to even the EF-131. Maybe a tanked up Me-262. But pretty much that's it. If you want to win at Tiers 9 and 10, you fly one of those 4 aircraft, and probably the Javelin and the EF-131. Oh, I've flown the J7W1 again. Oh, sorry, guys.
Show me what you can do, pilots. Let's roll.
They have the B-32. I'm going to go and see if I can find bot ground attackers to kill. Okay, so that's a bit of a shame, but it does mean I'm not going to see an EF-131. Get both these bombs off here. I'm not confident that I'll take out. Have the time to take out 2. Got 1 and we've already gone backwards. There's my ground attackers. Need to do the multi-roll first. We're up high, so we should be able to go for the ground attackers. Chunked off a large amount of health from there. He's going to die in a second. There we go. You're joking! You're joking that I get in the blast radius. How does that mechanic work? I saw that explosion and I was miles away from it. Watch this. So that must work a bit like a shockwave, because that was massively after he dropped the bomb. Okay. Wow, I've learned something there. I would never have thought that I would have flown into a bomb radius. There must be a shockwave mechanic in the game. I never knew that. I thought it was just everywhere at once. Okay, something learned. That's quite interesting. It's flying away from me. Oh, actually he's just turned. Okay, because he's turned, let's go and get him. Even a Focke-Wulf doesn't go up against a J7. Oh, quick to bombs. I've got 26 seconds to bombs. What's my team going to do? The ground attacker is sort of dithering. The bomber's gone in here, so I'm going to try and support. See if we can get this, and then we'll go back to the military base and see if we can get that. Good. Got to put the nose down because I'm losing speed. Let's go in and see if we can do something at the military base. I might try and take out 2 gun emplacements this time. Method in my madness here. Wanted that Yak 9 out. This will be interesting. Can he outturn me? Leave me alone. I want to take on the vampire. Thank you. Apparently not. Unlucky. That wasn't a given, that. You shouldn't have been turn fighting for sure. Okay. What do we need to do? We need to kill this ground attacker. We need not to get killed by it. Multi-role coming in. I'm going to try and defend this military base. Ground attacker over there as well. Empire again. Okay, he's obviously going to defend his ground attacker. Maybe mutual destruction. Yep. Oh, I'm quite happy to take the vampire out. And yeah, that's Burger King in the vampire. I would suggest the Burger King. If you've built that for speed, try and use the speed against me rather than the turning. But you certainly got me there, so well done. And I think I... close. I mean, the vampire can shoot me at a longer distance. Perhaps he has built it for turning, but then I've built this for turning, so maybe it's a close run thing. Certainly I've built my vampire mostly for turning, so... He's lost a lot of health there, I notice as well. Okay, we're going to win this. Let's go and try and get some damage out of this ground attacker.
There's a heavy storm here. Unable to proceed. Return into base. Do you copy? The enemy is launching rockets at us from the military base. Take action.
Probably could have done more to get out of the base, I think, really, the ground attacker. Not quite sure what his plan was there. Didn't work. And it's all over before I can get any more damage, I think. There we go.
Great job today.
Not too bad.
Waiting for you back home.
Right, we won't talk anymore. We'll get straight into the J7W2. I'm sorry I did an extra battle there, but it was quite a nice battle to see. Oh yeah, Punk Rock, maybe there was an unseen bomb there that also then landed. But the long and short of it, either way, I've got to give more space. I thought I was safe there, and I was flying above the explosion, and then suddenly just lost my aircraft. Fortunately, it wasn't vital. Got a skill point on that pilot now. Just wonder whether I want to take that off or whether I want to put it on there. It's a good question. And I think I'll think about that later, but actually I think what I'd want to do is reset these skills, keep those two and put on Engine Guru, and not have those skills. Anyway, that isn't getting the J7W2 done. Very similar looking aircraft, but it's got the jet engine, of course. Lots of this is not specialised. Let's get into it. So now we're running into the risk of EF-131s, and if I see an EF-131 on the enemy side and it's specialised, it will be just a question of farming what I can.
Attention! You are entering the combat zone. Get ready for battle. Good luck.
Not a good map for this plane. Tricky to say what's best to do here. If I was in a fast plane, I'd probably go for their plant and try and kill their ground attacker. I'm not, so I think what I'm going to try and do is take out a couple of gun emplacements here and give us 60 points. And if I manage to do that, is it a tier 10 battle? Yeah, I probably won't be able to do the gun emplacements in with one bomb each, but we'll try and soften them up. Got that one, so that's good. And in fact, I'm not sure whether I got that one or not. We've got our plant already, so that's good news. Let's go and see if we can contest this middle. Swift has dropped out of the battle. Why? Well, I hope that's just a disconnection, because if I'd been in a Swift on this map, I think I'd have been pretty happy. They've got the middle. Let's go and see if we can take this one. Oh, they've just taken that one as well now. Let's go back to the middle. See if we can get the middle out. Turned for the wrong aircraft here. I should be going for the J7. Got that. So where's the J7? Below me? Gone. It's a TA-183, so it's not the J7. Okay, we've got this. Okay, those were I don't know where the J7 went. It's not here anymore, so bombs in 38 seconds. Let's go proceed to their plant. Let's see if we can get their ground attacker out, who almost certainly is that, I would suggest. Oh no, that's the bot ground attacker. Oh, there's their ground attacker. Must have got shot down. Well, let's see if we can do it again then. And that's unfortunate. A KO-162, Key 162 and a J7 W7. Ow! And we've got the plant. He had to go with rockets at me. See some chat going on here, which I'm not going to pay any attention to. See if we can get on this ground attacker. ground attacker seems to be doing dogfighting now. Need the hunter to turn. He has. Finally, connect my shots and get him. That's another hunter. Well, I enjoyed your big guns, now enjoy mine. Okay, so we've got a big lead. Let's go off. Probably going to lose the middle, doesn't really matter. We've got both plants. Might lose one of them, but we've now got this garrison as well. Game's a good one. Let's go and see what we can do. Yeah, I would say probably I've got a fair chance of... Goodbye TA183. And it despite him wiggling quite nicely, I managed to land a shot on the hunter there. And it's all done. Okay, so no EF-131 to worry about. In those sorts of games, it can be quite a good aircraft. I would definitely build the J7s as turn fighters. They're multi-roles. They've got a couple of useful bombs. Very big guns, very good at taking down ground attackers. You want manoeuvrability because at that kind of level you'll be encountering fighters. You're not going to outturn the AK-30, Key 162, probably not an LA-15 either, or any of their Tier 9 equivalents. You'll struggle against the fast fighters, but if they engage in a turn fight with you, then your quid's in. So let's do the Tier 10 of that. Still got... Try not to fly the J7W2 again. So how does the J7W3 stack up? Well, it's more or less the same aircraft, but it's been given even punchier guns as you would want at Tier 10. Survivability is a little bit better. The airspeed is a bit better as well. It's not fast though. Manoeuvrability in this particular instance is better as well. I built it for manoeuvrability, I'm sure. And altitude performance is just a bit better, but nothing to write home about. So how have I configured this J7W3? And I have selected it this time. Again, lightweight wing frame, lightweight power unit, ultimate gas operated action to pump out even more DPS, and then I put on the reinforced skin. That doesn't reduce manoeuvrability, so it's as much for that reason as for improving the robustness of the aircraft. Because it's a very slight aircraft. If you're going to get shot, you're probably going to go down. But what the reinforced skin definitely doesn't do is worsen the manoeuvrability. So we've got a fairly manoeuvrable multi-role here. Certainly one that will outturn all of the other multi-roles, I think, with the possible exception of the F-84F. Let's get in and fly this. And this is the last tech tree aircraft in this tech tree fly-through. If we've got time, we'll fly the J8M again. Yeah, I mean, the Japanese multi-roles I used to really enjoy, and given that the main way to take a sector was by ground attackers before the advent of the bombers, this was a really good counter to the ground attackers. but it can do nothing against the bombers. And of course the bombers have made the ground attackers almost redundant. Okay, there are no bombers in this game. There is another J7W3. They have the XF90, we have an ME262. Well, okay, let battle commence. I don't know who's got the advantage here. Try and take out a couple of gun emplacements. Maybe sneak one in before the air defence aircraft can get on me. Ooh, blue guns. Saw the yaw just kick off a fraction late there. I was just a little bit slow getting it off. Okay, well, I probably will just dump the other bomb here. I'll do that there, so let's do it there. There we go. Bombers. So we've got the bomber side, unfortunately. Their ground attacks must be on the other side, that's a shame. They've just taken this. Maybe they'll find a ground attacker here I can shoot down. Doesn't look like it. Got the middle. Can I get up to these? Not really. Let's just fly away and then come back and try and take this sector. To look upwards quite a lot. Now, so the heavy spawned facing me, and that's really irritating because it meant they were able to get shots in immediately. One of them's taken my pilot, which is really annoying. You can see what that's done to the guns. Wait for the gun to come back before I can do anything here. So the other heavy's now come back. Pilot is now back in place. That's one down. Be careful about the other heavy. Yep, there he is. Flown away from me, so now I need to go for the fighters. Something specialised that just flew past me and I don't know what it was. XF. Okay, flew away from me, so we've now got this sector. Is there any chance I'm going to get a shot on the XF90? I actually ticked a couple of bits off him there. Yes is the short answer. I can shoot him down. And he was after my ME262. So I'm jolly glad I did that. Let's get back to the command centre and try and defend it. Still only bombers here. Been a bit unlucky this game. I haven't been able to find their ground attackers. Got the bombs back. This isn't really the sector I want to go for necessarily. Oh, there's a ground attacker. I'm not sure I want to be fighting here. What I'd like to be doing is actually taking that. So I think I might fly all the way through this sector. Especially as I saw a ground attacker a few seconds ago. I'm going to engage my engine cooling so I can get out of here just a bit more quickly. And let's go and see if we can get this sector. Yep, the Hornet was chasing me and has given up. actually, we now definitely do need this sector. Oh, bloody XF90 came to defend it. And we're going to lose this sector as well. So, I've also dropped one bomb in a failed attempt to get that sector. Well spotted the XF90, and yeah, we've lost that sector now. We're in really serious trouble, unless I can get this. My heavy is potentially in completely the wrong part of the map. And what I'm now really worried about is the XF90 is going to get in here and defend this sector as well. There's a ground attacker down there. It's very low health. I wonder if I can get him before he gets out of the sector. It would be really helpful if I did. But I need to get the J7 out. Nearly got him. Good. So all of that advantage we had has virtually disappeared. I need to get this ground... yeah, ground attacker. I must kill him. We've lost another sector. As hard as I've tried, we're just not keeping up any longer. What started off well now is looking very, very bad for us. And we've gone backwards on this. We've lost. They're too far away from me, and there's nothing for me to shoot. I haven't got another bomb. Okay, we've got that. So we need to try and get that command center.
Enemy bombers inbound. Don't let them reach their target.
But it's all too late. We're basically going to need superiority to win this battle now. I haven't got bombs, so it's all going to have to be with aircraft, and I think this J7W3 wants to have a word. Let's see if we can... Oh no, he's turned away. That's actually fairly smart, because if he'd come in here and I'd shot him down, then I've got a good chance of taking this sector. Hunter's flown away. I'm hoping I got his wing. I got his wing. Trouble is the Hunter's come back. So I'm really up against two aircraft here. Nearly got him now. The Hunter's probably going to get another pass on me before I kill this. No. Yes. Managed to avoid. Have some of my big guns. Well, we got it. Right decision, but their XF90 outplayed my ME262, so unfortunately we ended up losing that battle. But I gave a good account of myself, so I'm fairly happy with that. Right. that looks like it may be a game crash. It's very slow to load. Oh no, it's come back. Right, what have we got? How much time have we got left here? Oh, we've actually got 22 minutes. So what we're going to do, a bit of bonus time here. First off, I'm going to pay a visit to the loo. So I'll be back in a moment. We're going to play 2 bonus battles. We'll play this one again, and we'll play the J8 M once more as well. So we're going to put in some bonus battles on this line. I shall be right back. Okay, punk rock. So that's part of the reason why I'm doing these tech tree fly-throughs, so people can see what to expect. So that's the perfect comment as far as I'm concerned. Without further ado, let's get into the J7W3 again. Let's see what we get. Hello, Grease Monkey. Trust you to come in right at the end. You're actually going to get a couple of battles, actually, Grease Monkey. J7W3 and another battle in the J8M. And we've been very lucky with bomber spam for the last few battles. That won't continue necessarily. And as I say, if you're up against an EF-131 in this aircraft, you have no method of taking it out unless it happens to be extraordinarily low and it's on low health when you encounter it. Housework? What's that? Although at some point I do need to cut the grass. Oh, that sounds exciting, punk rock. I hope you enjoy yourself in Norway. Yeah, there's another problem with this, having a sheep to cut your grass. Let's just call it poo picking, and it isn't pleasant. Much prefer to pick up horse poo than sheep poo, I can tell you that. Okay, tricky.
You are entering the combat zone. Get ready for battle. Good luck.
And we have now run into an EF-131. That makes the plant not viable for me because I'm pretty slow. We'll try and get this command centre. Where we go then will very much depend on how the battle's panned out. EF-131 is not specialised. That may mean that we've got more of a chance than it looks. We do have the IL-40P. Let's go and see if we can assist the IL-40P here. So I suspect he won't go to the plant. I could be wrong about that. That sounds terrific. I'd love to go to Norway. Pardon me. Do I want to try and keep my bombs? Well, that decision's been made for me. Good. They're EF-131, I think. Oh, well, no. Burger King has gone in his XF90 across to the plant, and he's stopped us basically. So well played to him, that was a good tactic. Got the airfield though. That was very, very poor play by me. Couldn't get the right view at the right time. Let's go and see if we can get this. See if we can catch the hunter by surprise. So yes. Now that's the XF90 come over here now. Fortunately, you've got my engine, which has basically put me in no man's land. Let's see if we can get this ground attacker out. Yeah. Once he got my engine, I was sitting duck, but what I did do was take out the ground attacker. Can I assist at the plant?
Large enemy force is attacking the command center.
Maybe. We've got all of our ground attacking capability going in there now, so I think I'm going to leave that. I'm going to ask him to be targeted. I'm clearly not going to go for him myself. It's still worth contesting this command centre. If we can get the plant, we might not be in such a bad situation, you know. There's a ground attacker there. That's the F2H. That's the hunter. Don't want to be clobbered by that. Fortunately for me.
The enemy has captured the command center. Don't let them gain a foothold. Attention all fighters. Enemy bombers detected. Destroy them.
It's on fire. It's worth peppering him just to see if I can get him finished off. Yeah, got him. Back to our command centre then. Got the plant as well, so that's good. Got a bit of an advantage at the moment, it's not much. It can soon disappear, but if we can get that command centre back, that will certainly help. Might have been an idea to defend that command centre, you know. Oh, I got my blasted engine. Means I can't chase him down, so let's go. Just go for the command centre. Oh, and the XF90's back. Picked his moment. Saw me struggling. Second time he's caught me without an engine. Still, that actually isn't so much of a problem this time. I get a healthy aircraft with which to attack the command centre. Alternatively, I can try and defend the plant against the ground attackers. They do have a bomber though, that's the only thing. might try and do both, but let's try and do the this command centre first.
Receiving reports about rapidly deteriorating weather conditions. The port will be unable to reach you. Do you read me? Over. Victory is in
Oh, what set me on fire? He set me on fire with his real turret. Wow. Wow is all I can say to that. What a lucky bot.
We cannot support you any longer. The storm is too heavy. Do you copy? Over.
Got to get this because we're going to lose the plant. Don't understand how that bot managed to kill me with his rear gun. That is not one of the most effective guns in the game, I can tell you. That was really quite infuriating. Shouldn't be going for this Spitfire. I've only got half an eye on him actually. Because of the, I know the heavies around somewhere. Got it. Good.
Awaiting help from the front headquarters. Great job
That's a good win.
today. We'll be waiting for you back home.
That's a good win. Against an XF90 and an EF-131 for us to come out with the win there. Good effort. I did my business there. It's not a great score, but I was effective. Would have been more effective if I hadn't been shot down by the rear gun of the BVP 2150. Can't believe that happened. Shot him down the second time. That flipped the sector. And the unspecialised EF-131 proved not to be particularly effective, so we were lucky there. But we've got a win in the J7W3 as well, so that's good. Happy with that win. Difficult matchup. Nice to come out with that. Right, so J8M, an aircraft which I've never got to grips with. Give this another go. When I flew this earlier in the stream, I turned out to have an incredibly weak team. This is not a carry aircraft by any manner of means. And with a weak team, the result was a rout. I did see that the 30mm could shoot down a bot RB-17 fairly effectively. Wouldn't have tried it against a human RB-17. That's for sure. So the J8M, also known as the Key 200 in its army configuration, which was I think identical to this, or virtually identical. It's a copy of the HE-163 Comet. Slightly lightened, reduced armament. It's all about the boost. This thing is phenomenal under boost, and it's also got terrific altitude performance as well. So it's up and down fighter, but the 230s are quite tricky to land, and that's the bit that I fail on. It's also good for kiting aircraft out of sectors. If you can get them to chase you, they can't catch you. And if they're persistent, it means they then abandon the sector and can leave it to your team to take. I did actually do that in the previous battle. I pulled 2 aircraft out of a sector, which is when I realised that my team was so inept that they didn't have any aircraft near that sector. It was one of the key sectors on the map. Okay, here we go. It's actually pretty much the same map. Certainly the same, well, it's the same map, Albion. It's not quite the same variant. We had a 4-sector battle previously. B-29. We have B-29. I'm a support aircraft anyway, so that's what I'll be doing. The airfield is not for me, unless I can get above the Spitfire and catch him when he's busy with something else. Let's go and see what we can do. No point in going to the plant, because the B-29C is not something I can shoot down. I'll have a go at the command centre first. Okay, I'll B-29. Do you know what? I'm going to change tack. I'm actually going to go for the garrison. Reason being is I've just seen the B-29C going in to the command centre, which is the right decision, I think. Altitude performance is spectacular on this. Look at this. I haven't gone yellow yet, and here I am, virtually at 10,000 feet before I do. Cruise speed on this is really, really slow. Basically, if you can carry your boost speed, that doesn't matter. Not a turn fighter. Don't engage in turn fights with this. Okay, so that's gone well. We have our command centre. We have our military base. Sorry, command centre. Sorry, we have our command centre and we have our garrison. Not sure if anything we can do here, but we'll see if we can pick off something. No, they've got the airfield now. That's unfortunate. I wonder if there's anything I can do over here. Very wary about the B-29C, I have to say. There's the Junkers. That doesn't scare me particularly. Ah, they've got it. That's a shame. Let's go and take the Junkers out anyway. Once I've done that, go off and find something else to do. Perhaps try and take their garrison. Probably can take the 2 ground attackers actually. Nice fire on that. See how I'm approaching this, going up, down rather than round and round. Oh, really? So fast I've managed to smash into the ground, you fool. I'm going to have to go and take that back. I'll tell you what I got distracted by there. I was wondering what else was in the base with me. That was stupid of me. Easily done though in this aircraft, you're going so fast. Just as I was shooting at the ground attacker, I spotted something else in the base, and I was wondering what it was, and that actually distracted me long enough to fail to pull up in time. We do need to kill this ground attacker. So that's not going to military base. Let's try and get onto one of these A4. Good, we've got it back. I'd like the B-29C to actually be going to the plant though, to be honest. We need that plant. I wonder what's defending it. The heavy? Let's go and see if we can sort out the heavy. This is a good heavy killer. saw you'd sent a video. I'll watch it a bit later. Thank you. Guns. Oh. Rotten shooting by me. Thank you. And we've got the plants. Good. It might be a case of trying to defend us now. And we've got the airfield as well finally, so may have an advantage at last. The only problem is with if they've got the B-29C, that's not the aircraft I particularly want to defend against. Is that the Junkers? That's what I want to know. Massive diving attack. Let's see if we can get this. Oh, no. That is the Junkers, and that's my prime target. I think I got him. Yes, I was quite happy with that. Took a chance on ramming him to kill him before he got anywhere near the plant. It worked. I'm happy with that. Now, clearly not an aircraft you want to do a lot of ramming in, so that was a 1 in 10 situation. Altitude. The Yak-3RD has been working hard, so that's a good kill actually. Let's assess what we've got. Ground attacker, Spitfire, bomber. We won't be ramming him this time, at least I don't intend to. Again. Of course, at this angle, he can't get his guns to bear. There we go. Fairly effective. I think I did a good job there. The airfield wasn't for me. Supported my bomber, supported taking these sectors. And we have the victory in the J8M as well, just to cap things off. And that's an aircraft I'm steadily getting better in, but I've got a lot to learn in it. Definitely not a premium that I recommend for newer players. It is one of the most difficult aircraft in the game to do well in. That you can do well in it has been proved by Airbus, formerly known as Jennifer Heise. He's an absolute monster in this aircraft. I'm sort of below average, average at best. But that's why I like playing it, because it's actually a real challenge. But I really, really strongly recommend to newer players you do not have eyes bigger than your belly and buy this aircraft, because you will really struggle in it, unless you're a genius. Okay, that was the Japanese Navy Air Force Tech Tree Flythrough. And that brings me to the end of this Tech Tree Flythrough, where I flew all the aircraft from Tier 2 to Tier 10 of the Japanese Navy Air Force as represented in the World of Warplanes game. And I threw in 3 extra aircraft premiums as well. And I thoroughly enjoyed that stream. I thoroughly enjoyed flying these aircraft. I thoroughly enjoyed producing this video for you. And I hope you found it enjoyable too, and indeed informative. And if you did, I hope you'll come back and see my future content. But until then, this is the Noble Q, signing out.